Good morning, St. Francis. Good morning, people of God. It is Wednesday, the third day of April 2024, Wednesday of the octave of Easter, Wednesday of Easter week, Easter Wednesday, the fourth day of the Easter season. Again, another sort of quiet morning here on the campus of St. Francis. Still, our schools are in Easter break, and so it is morning mass, which has arrived. You see back there, and it's happening right now in the church itself. It's going to be raining today. Finally, the rain will probably wash away some of the pollen that has reached its peak, but still is hanging on for just a little bit longer. So hopefully, the rain will wash away a lot of this pollen that just coats everything in yellow, and not a beautiful yellow either. Not an Easter yellow. It's kind of this dingy yellow. So. But this Wednesday of the octave, Wednesday of Easter week, we move to now after Peter has given the great speech to the people of Jerusalem about the truth of the resurrection. He and John go up to the temple to offer sacrifice, to do what they're to do their prayers. Now, perhaps to offer sacrifice yet, because it still isn't. It still isn't made aware that Jesus is the once and for all sacrifice. So they're probably going up to offer sacrifice or to do prayers or whatever it is, because they are still good Jews. I mean, they still are that. There is no distinction. They immediately do not become Christians, let alone Catholics. They are still people of the covenant. But now the covenant has been deepened. The covenant has been increased, both in the number of people who can partake in it, and also in its effects and what it means, for us. So Peter and John go up to the temple, again in obedience to the law, and it is there that they find a man who has been paralyzed, and the man is begging for alms and begging for money and whatever it is to just kind of help out whatever existence he's trying to create for himself. And they basically tell him, "Look at us." And it's interesting that kind of command to look at them, because I'm sure that the man was probably had cast down, or was in kind of a dejected sort of begging for alms because of the situation that he was in, which is perhaps not a situation of pride. It was probably a situation perhaps of despair and even embarrassment or things like that. And so look at us. So it isn't just something that is done to the man without him knowing about it. It's now going to be something that's done to the man because he looked at Peter and John. And they say they don't have silver or gold. They don't have those kinds of things that humanity would want, but they have what this man truly needs, and that is to walk. And they offer him the ability to walk in the name of Jesus. And so this is Peter and John's first miracle. Do they have other miracles? It's never recorded about other kinds of, they're miraculous escapes from prison and things like that, but there's never really another kind of miracle that's really associated with them, except for this, kind of allowing this man to regain his strength to be able to stand again. And amazement, again, sweeps through the entire temple precinct, as people are watching what is happening. Are they connecting it with the Jesus who has risen and these were his followers and everything else like that? It's not clear. It's always not clear, but it's always a sense in which, something is different now in a tangible way. It isn't just speeches and stirrings of the heart. It is now something that is changing the way in which people see themselves and other people see ourselves and one another. And so, again, the wonder and the beauty of what resurrection does, it allows for a deeper sight and a deeper realization of who and what we are to ourselves and to one another. In the gospel today, we have Emmaus, one of Luke's resurrection appearances. The disciples who themselves, again, are two of them, whoever they are. Was it a man and a woman? Was it just two men? Was it two women? Nobody knows. It seems to sometimes be a man and a woman. In despair and dejection, going home, going back to the city of Emmaus. A bit of a walk, it seems, travel from Jerusalem itself. And this stranger appears with them. They do not know it's Jesus. And he asks them why they're so downtrodden and downcast. And basically, they're like, "What do you don't know anything that's going on? How can you not know what's going on with this Jesus of Nazareth and everything that happened to him?" And then Jesus basically calls them stupid. And goes on to, say how this must happen and this should have happened and this is is all a part, of God's plan. It's not because people ate a piece of fruit that they weren't supposed to eat, and so God has to say, you have to die because everybody else should die, because how dare people eat a piece of fruit when I tell them not to eat a piece of fruit. Please stop thinking about that. This is not the reason in any way, shape, or form that Jesus comes. Jesus comes so that we might know the fullness of what it means to be human, because in that fullness comes the understanding of divinity that we are also created in. So we don't need superheroes. We don't need, as much as they're entertaining, we don't really need them to show us what heroism is. We have it within us because we are created human and divine. And so it is in breaking of the bread that finally their eyes are open. Again, this thing that Jesus says to do in memory of me, they probably weren't even going to do it anymore because they were so downtrodden and despairing and downcast. And so they run back to Jerusalem. Again, a trip that would have been ridiculous late at night as they were far away from it. And they found the 12 and the other apostles, and they basically say, we have seen the Lord. And they say, so have we. And so again, now is this whole idea of a whole bunch of stories being told upon one another, and people trying to say, I've seen him here, and he's appeared there, and this is what he has done, and he is risen, and yes, he is risen, and all this great news, lumping upon each other, these concentric circles, of Christ basically demonstrating the fact that he is alive. Again, it isn't just fantasy and storybook for us. It is something, again, that allows us to think more deeply about what it means to believe and the wonder and joy of having a belief that brings us life and that brings us hope. Not about condemnations and despairs, not about sinfulness and whatever else it is that we keep throwing in between us and God. It is now Christ who stands between us and God, and who does not stand between us and God, but allows us to stand before God, and allows that wonder and beauty of what it means to be human to shine within and through us. A blessed Easter, a blessed day, St. Francis and people of God. May the Lord give you his peace.